Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I am Bancroft, being joined once again by Jimmy, and like always, Fluff.
Yes, sir.
What's up, people?
Keep in mind, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them, they're there for a reason. But today's matchup is me versus Jimmy. Trunks versus Mechikabura. Let's take it away.
Yeah.
We've seen both these now on the channel finally. I since you're picking it back up recently, have you done any actual changes to the deck besides Oceania?
Uh, some major game ender options that I've changed out. The core of the deck is pretty much the same since I've started playing it. Uh, I've been doing a lot of tweaking with the sideboard, experimenting with that, and really getting the deck into a comfortable position where I could sit down against pretty much any deck in the format and feel comfortable against it and have an option to play. So overall, it's the same deck that I played before with very minor changes.
Fair enough. Which I did have some experience with it. I knew what you wanted to do, which when we got to the turns caused me not to do certain effects because I didn't want to bounce certain cards back to your hand. But I will say I did take a lot of risk in this match with certain, I would say, counterplays, and we'll go over those when they happen, and I'll kind of explain myself when they get to that point. You've had no experience with this at all. You kind of like walk past a couple of times when I'm playing it, kind of peeked at some of my cards. So what were you expecting, out of curiosity?
So I knew the Tapion setup was pretty solid. The Unison is really good in decks like Soul Striker. I knew the 4-drop Tapion has gotten a lot of play recently, so I was expecting those, but I really wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? Wasn't completely knowledgeable about the rest of the archetype itself. Because I didn't even know that Trunks pulled a field card until I sat down in this game. So I was worried that field card was going to play a much bigger role than it overall does in the deck. So I was very wary of when that was going to pop, like what was going to happen with that. Because I remember you talking earlier that the deck can play a ton of cards for 1 energy that are all like 20Ks.
Yeah.
Which I have a lot of options for floodgates, but I didn't know when that was going to happen.
And at one point in the match as well, I think you asked me, like, what does that 1-drop do? And I'm like, oh, it does nothing now.
Yep.
And it's just a searcher, you know? But because I actually said the word now.
Well, that was a keyword, but also we have a kind of shop rule that if we're playing against Bancroft and we go, hey, Bancroft, what does that card do? And the first word that comes out of his mouth is nothing. That's the best card in the entire deck, and it has to get off the board the moment you have a chance to.
Okay, so this never came up in any of our videos. Let me clarify that. Nothing.
Oh no, it has come up in the videos before, and you have sat woefully in silence while we accuse you of misleading the text of your cards.
So let me finally redeem myself.
Mm.
The way my brain operates, if you say, what does that card do? If I say nothing, it's because that card literally does nothing. Because I've already done its skills. If you say, what is that card's effect? I would read that card to you. It's just the way you ask a certain question. I go, oh, it does nothing. It's useless. But obviously it has like a whole paragraph of text on there. And that's where that confusion comes from, okay?
You're
just trying to
you ask, what does that card do? Like, when you're playing against people, you go, and what does that card do?
I mean, the way...
Right, so you can't do that, so you understand the context of what does that card do.
I can't control how my brain processes information.
That's selective as fuck,
yeah,
bro.
Bancroft's a big stupid, that's what it is.
So this 3-drop Trunks is really good against Jimmy right now.
Is it, though?
Yeah, he can't swing his 4-drops right now.
I mean, it's
okay.
Yeah.
I actually debated on swinging with the salsa and just dropping the 2 Dragon Balls. That was an idea that that was going through my head, but I was like, I just go ahead and build my field up because the worst you could do is bounce them back to my hand.
Which I'm not gonna do that. Come on now.
So I was like, I might as well spend the energy while I had it. But I did utilize one of the Yearning for the Dragon Balls to warp your 1-drop.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you said it does nothing, I was like, all right, well, I got to get rid of it. Then you put the Great Sandman in the energy, and I'm like, that evolves on top of that, doesn't it? Which I don't think it does. But from where I was setting, I was like, oh, it has a red text, and then there's a blue energy, so it has to evolve.
Yeah, the Trunks is the way actually to play it for free, for really cheap. Yep. But the Trunks on the board is also another way of playing that 4-drop Trunks as well, which is pretty nice.
It's really interesting. Mechikabura is notorious for resource efficiency and resource exchange with the opponent. Like, it does it so well. And I feel like in this instance, Mechikabura could potentially get a taste of its own medicine, where Bancroft has the ability to, like, pay one 20,000, pay one 20,000, pay one 20,000, versus Jimmy's pay one 15,000. And they're both running different types of floodgates. So, it's like a mirror match in a different kind of way.
And I think this was the turn we were talking about the Trunks like that, where I counterplayed your Poutine.
Mm-hmm.
So typically, you still get the negate because it goes off. And yes, I'm putting back a Poutine in your hand where it's practically a topo. It's 2 energy to pull off. And at the time, I had other God-Slaying Trunkses in my hand, so I felt comfortable with bouncing that one and just continue pushing. And then if you were to play it again, if I wanted to push that next turn, I'll just counterplay it again and just continue pushing. It's a risk.
I was actually like, it worked out better for me in the long run of you using your Trunkses to put my floodgates back into my hand, because that was more Trunkses that weren't going to hit my battle cards in the future, which one of my big game enders now is susceptible to a Trunks counterplay. So I was like, every time he played that, I was like, okay, as soon as I draw into this, I know I'm good to put it on the field.
The only things I was aware of, if I'm correct, it's the 6-drop, King Black Mesa or something like that?
Black Mesa has Deflect, the 8-drop Mechikabura has Deflect, but I am also running the SS4 Thwarting the Dark Empire Gogeta.
Ah, okay. So, which I don't think you played at all this match, actually.
I don't think I do. I think I just don't see him the entire game, because usually my game plan now is to get to 4 energy, hold my Awaken until then, tap 4, put the Gogeta out, then Awaken there. So I have energy for defense.
But, so I forget, like, you haven't played Mechikabura in a while, and you've just been bringing it back now, and I forgot all about the ability of stealing a 4-drop card, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, when I was noticing that a majority of your battle cards were 4 or less, I was like, well, I probably have, like, infinite fuel when it comes to stealing my opponent's battle cards. Because there are some matchups where it's completely useless, that steal effect, because they're all either 1-drop weenies that do absolutely nothing and it's a leader beater deck, or it's 5 drops and higher that I can't touch outside of, snatching with Heroine's Lineage. So seeing you put a lot of 4-drops out there, I was pretty hype about that, being able to have a pretty much infinite resources of 4-drops to steal here.
And I think I talked about this Goku in my matchup against Jason, but I love this. It's like I said, it's 1 energy as long as you have the unit. 3 or more energy, if correct. To play it, it's Deflect, it's blocker. You draw a card, which is awesome. But it's also a way going into the 6-drop Goku. So you stole my Trunks, and I'm like, okay, I need to get a card on the board that he cannot steal. And so I go ahead and pay the 2 energy. And here I'm going over the Spirit Boost because it requires Spirit Boost. I forget that the wording of that Spirit Boost, and you pointed out to me afterwards, states greater than or equal to their energy. So I could have bounced the Trunks back to my hand, but I just completely I was so focused on the other stuff. Like, I don't want to send your 4-drops back. I can't send the your your 6-drop because he has barrier, I think. And I was like, oh, I got no targets. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was after the match because I remember vaguely reading that Tapion Unison Spirit Boost because I'm usually focusing on the plus and minus on him, that I'm not really focused on the Spirit Boost. But I remember vaguely it saying equal to, and I was like, why did it not bounce the trunks? Is there a reason for that? Like, so that kind of threw me off the rest of the game. I thought you were like big braining me.
No, not this time.
So to mention something on this 6-drop Goku, the 3-drop specifies that it plays the 6-drop with its keyword skills negated for the game. That's the correct wording on it.
You play the 6-drop on top of it, comma, negate discards keyword skills for the game.
Yeah. You slap that god ceiling down so fast on that Oceanus.
It was me confirming that you don't get the mill effect. So if I want to continue swinging, I can.
Yeah, the Oceanus specifies that I have to, if I play a card, that she will get the mill effect. But to go back to the 6-drop Goku, its only keyword skill that it inherently has is Deflect, but you can pay 1 to restand it and give it Double Strike. Correct?
Yeah, so you pay 1 blue energy, it gains 5,000 power, and if you have a Unison with a specific cost of 3 in play, you restand it, and it gains Double Strike.
But since the previous card says that it negates its keyword skills, it can no longer gain keyword skills. There was a ruling in the past that if a card had a specific skill type negated, i.e. keyword skill, if you use something like Furthering Destruction Champa, you could not give the card Double Strike off of it. So was a very oddly designed card, to be completely honest, because really he's just a 30k Double Strike dual, or a 30k dual attacker, essentially. If you play it off of the 3-drop Goku.
Which still isn't a bad thing for a total of 3 energy if you have to do it all in one turn. Or you could pay the 4 energy naturally to play it outright using its activate main. And then you could swing it, it's a 30k dual attack Double Strike. And the reason why I chose in the end not to, even though I counterplay your Oceania because I wanted that extra hit without having to mill anything because I think I'm still digging for certain cards. I didn't want to tap out right away because I don't think I had any Dimension Magic at the time.
And I do want to mention that you played your Sensu Beans so well this game that you played them in very opportune spots. You always used them defensively. Which slowed down my turns a lot because I have a lot of aggression on the board that ended up turning into only 1 or 2 cards were worth swinging with at all. I leave one Salsa in active mode because I don't get another auto proc because I swung with the other one. So there's no point in putting it sideways. Keep it as a combo piece for later. So it was really, you played those beans really well.
Yeah, and truth be told, it just breaks down to, I've played against you a lot with this deck in the past, and I knew like the best way to slow you down so I can go to my turns I want to go off on is just either boost my leader or find a way to stop you from attacking.
And you do finally get that Oceanus out of my hand that I was trying to play the entire game with the big baby monkey.
Yep.
Which did tap you out. Which is kind of a scary spot to be in, I would assume.
I hate that card. I don't play enough black, so I forget all about Supreme Kai's negate, which targets anything. I was like, anything? You're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't typically think of black as super defensive, but when I think of Jimmy's Mechikabura, I'm like, good God, I think I have to play through more negates in this deck than in any other deck around. Like, it is so frustrating the amount of responses that he has to actions that most games that I play ends up looking like this, where you have no field versus a wide ass field with a bunch of 15,000s, and he's just taking anything that's 4 or less. Like,
Yeah, I that's why I love Mechikabura so much. I've always loved the play and response style deck, and this one just has so many built-in responses, as well as getting so much support from previous black cards from past sets. Because it wasn't until recently that black really got an identity and became a proper color, where you have full black archetypes. Where black used to just be a supporting color for other decks, it now has tons of fantastic support cards that you could put into these black archetypes, and it fits so seamlessly.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I was honestly worried about the strength of certain black decks, given the fact that a lot of the generic black stuff that were kind of splashed in was already really strong. Because it was, like Overwhelm or Tecton for this particular thing or this particular thing. So it's a very fine line that they're walking. I mean, look at all the problems they've had with Dark Brawly and the Jax as two options there. That it just kind of highlight how difficult it could be to balance black as a color.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So I think when I comboed that Vegeta a third time, you made the comment how many super combos I'm playing with. I didn't want to use that super combo against your 20k, but I don't think I had any other cards I was willing to combo off at the moment. And the fact that Ginyu is a great card, and you're just completely going wide, causing me to use more and more negates. Did I forget about this next play? I forget Mechikabura has the ability to gain Triple Strike.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, God, okay. Yeah, let's do this.
The triple attack.
Triple attack, yeah, not triple strike, but yeah, triple attack.
Even more insane is that its draw on attack is not once per turn.
Yeah.
So every attack, Jimmy gets to draw another card.
Mm-hmm. And there was a instance of me going, oh, I have Hunt of the Demon God, and I went to play a card, and I was like, that's not Hunt of the Demon God. That's not even what Hunt of the Demon God does. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna spend energy to counterplay that. Which I just need to mainboard Hunt of the Demon God at this point, because every single time that I've looked at Super Kamehameha, I just go, man, I wish I had a Hunt of the Demon God right now.
So counterplayed your Overwhelm card, and then you just played this thing. I'm like, God dang it, Jimmy. I will say, I'm waiting for it. You forget to bottom deck 2 cards.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just realized this could have changed a lot, actually. I'm not sure how much, because you swing twice.
I remember I had a lot of extra cards in hand. I had a total of 6 battle cards left in hand to combo with, and the rest were uncomboable cards.
Okay.
So when I would have bottom decked 2 for each attack, it would have been just extra cards or non-comboables.
So I'm just trying to figure out what's best to... And I'm like, I messed the math up. I'm like, hang on. Wait, that's not right. God dang it.
You confused me because you looked at me, you said, you're at 55,000. I was like, yeah, wait, what? And I was like, and you were like, okay, I'm at 60. And you were like, no, I'm at 40. And then we kept going back and forth.
So, that would have been 4 cards you would have had to warp. I don't remember how many cards you really did have in your in. If you felt comfortable, you were fine. Actually, I don't think I could even combo truly past the 30 anyways, which is why I kind of pulled our classic, oh, but I use Spirit Boost -5 to play another user, which stops your attack, and you had a Dragon Slaying Bullet in your hand.
Dragon Slaying Bullet, bro.
So it kind of played my bullshit, so it happened.
Yeah, totally.
You all channeled your Duelist Kingdom Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1.
I was trying to pull some bullshit out of my pocket, and combine an undead mammoth with some form of arrow to pierce his ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon to neg it by 12,000 every second or something.
You used Shattering Spell Arrow to fuse with your Mammoth Graveyard to rot his dragon from the inside. Yeah,
Exactly.
I get you. Yeah.
I just brought a gun.
That was actually edited out in the American cartoons. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind, there's videos on the screen while Fluff does the outro.
It actually was edited out of the cartoons. Like, their hands are hilarious. If you go back and watch that episode where they're supposed to have guns in their hands, but they just like have their hands and they're like pointing with like a quick finger. Anyway, look at one of these 4 videos. Hopefully it's something that you like. Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to screw the rules we have, buddy. And Fluff out.